10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Injection, fellas.
So we're back. Kendrick's here, Crimp's here. Jay may come later, but it may just be a three-man weave for this evening. So I wanted to start out by asking before, although, pour one out for Budenholzer. I don't know if we should start with Budenholzer. I was going to start out with asking how much fun was this season, but we should probably start. Have you seen in the last hour, has anyone seen Bradley Beal was offended because Budenholzer told him to play like Drew? Have you seen
Right.
that?
Yeah, just seen it. It's laughable, right? It's like, what? That dude has never been that guy. Like, why are you asking people to do that? And Bradley Beal is too, he thinks he's too established to be asked to do something like that. Like, this dude was the best man on a crappy team for a long time, and he thinks he's still a superstar, you know. But Bud got into a bad situation, man. He thought he could handle it, but I don't think he had like a Darvin Ham type of assistant to help him smooth over some of those egos because I think Bud is just a poor communicator. At least that's what the word is on the street. I don't know the man personally.
Crib.
Yeah, I think that's tough. I mean, bad situation for Bud. And you do his system for his system to be successful. Obviously, he needs a guy like Drew on the team. That wasn't Bradley Beal. So, I mean, he can ask a guy to do something. I think it's a little unprofessional on Beal's part to think that he can't make adjustments or can't be asked to make adjustments. He's not going to be the guy who's scoring on that team with Booker and KD. So you got to feel a different role if you're going to get on the floor. But I feel bad for Bud, but he's going to get paid either way.
Exactly.
So that's the business.
Much more well off than I am. So, no love lost.
Did they fire the GM? Because they should fire the GM too.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
No.
Was that Denver?
You
thinking about Denver?
Yeah, thinking of Denver. Yeah, I'm not sure. I seen that he was on the fence. Yeah, that they're not sure.
Who even is their GM?
No. Somebody named Woods, I thought I seen.
I don't know.
I mean, also, it doesn't surprise anybody in Phoenix. Like, didn't they also let Vogel go, Bud gone? I mean, who wants to coach there?
Like I said, I don't even know why they got rid of what was their coach when what was his name when Bucks played him in the finals. Did he wear out his welcome, or he seemed to be doing well with those players.
He went to the Pistons for $1 billion and has already been fired again, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna think of his name in a minute.
Monty Williams.
Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he left the best situation for him. I think he got fired though.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the players liked him. That's the thing about the league now is like these players make so much money. These owners see that most of their money is wrapped up in the players and contracts. They can't really get rid of them. I mean, the coaches are, $5-10 million a year. These players are making 20-50 million guaranteed as well, So
you're not going to win nothing with Booker anyway. So it doesn't make Booker's not a winner.
Booker's okay. More
of all, it's a team.
Let me just for the sake of throwing out crazy hypotheticals. Is Booker more of a winner than Durant?
No.
Can you call it a tie?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that
KD's got chips.
Durant is older too. I mean, his abilities are starting to wane a little bit. In their prime, I would take KD in a heartbeat over Booker.
He's better, but given their skill set and height, could you argue that Booker's got more of his relative talent than Durant?
Now, yeah.
Just in their prime?
No, I don't mean prime for prime, but Booker is
today.
Whatever he is. No, I just mean in general. Booker went toe to toe with Booker was dunking on Giannis in the finals. He took him as just about as far as you could go. What is Durant
So did
ever done,
Durant.
but jump on Steph
Durant during
Curry's
during when
coattails.
Brooklyn played. I mean, if his toe was a few inches back, 2 inches back, they'd have probably won that series.
And
And they could not stop Durant, no matter who they put on him.
until overtime when he was 0 for 4 or 0 for 6 or whatever. But yeah, I feel you. I don't know if anybody has. Do you feel Kendrick? Do you feel Kendrick probably doesn't because Kendrick doesn't have any like love for this kind of stuff. A weird sense of we bagged on Budenholzer for like 5 years, but like at the same time, I don't feel like nobody else can talk about him. Like it's a weird thing where it's like a Hall of Famer can talk about him, Bradley Beal can't talk about him. Like what's what's that, right?
Oh, it's like
It's a weird thing. It's a weird
Bud will
thing.
always. I mean, Bud got Milwaukee their chip, so I'm always going to hold him in high regard, high enough regard. He got us that chip, and where nobody else, all previous comers, and so far none since either. So he's still going to hold a little special, spot on the mantle. But Bradley Beal, I mean, you will never win anything with Bradley Beal because he
Oh, right.
because he takes too much of your salary. Bradley Beal could be a great contributor on a team if he was making half as much money as he's making. He makes too much money and he's not that good.
Well,
And
I
I have
also
the
feel
same thoughts about a guy on our team, which we'll get to.
it's almost like Arenas is in the news, but like I was about to say, it's almost like the early '90s again with like Big Dog and all those guys. But really, it's like the Arenas era too. It's like you have guys who it's not even so much that they're over. It is that they're overpaid, but also they're just so not leaders.
Right.
And you can't be in the league for 7 years and have no leadership at all, and then all of a sudden like become like a good clubhouse guy. Like it just kind of doesn't work. Um, So yeah, anyway, so what I wanted to, in as much as there's a rough outline, there's no rough outline, but like I wanted to start out asking, did you like this regular season? How do we feel about this regular season? Because I'll just start out personally. I didn't even remember that we started out 2-8 or whatever that was, 2-7 maybe or something. I just
So
remember being like, and in the group chat, it was just kind of nuts. Like, this isn't worth my time. This is disrespectful. These like wake me up in the spring, all that
right.
kind of stuff we were saying back and forth.
I agree. Are
But I
you
love the way it
referring
ended,
to
so I
how
don't
did
know.
I
Like,
like the Bucks season or overall NBA season this year?
start with the books.
It really just kind of gave me feelings of what the lead up to us being good, where we just you were rooting for them, you could see the potential, but they just weren't clicking. They just didn't have the right personnel. This reminds me of those earlier years when we had Bledsoe and all those different iterations of some type of point guard that would come in and try to help us. I don't think we I think that the trade deadline made it a lot more enjoyable to watch. I did enjoy that the coach played Doc played a lot of the young guys. So we got to see that a little bit, and we got to see some of their develop. Sticking with AJ Green, that really surprised me, especially during his slumps. I mean, the way he sat Pat Connaughton forever, and still, so there's some positive glimpses and there's a lot of negatives. I don't think that Dame and Giannis, even though they were rated at one point in time during the season as the highest scoring duo in the NBA, it still just doesn't feel uh, consistent. It doesn't feel like it's something that you can rely upon in a crunch. It seems they are stoppable. Um, we had very few games going back to the Bud years where we just decimated teams and guys rarely played much of the fourth quarter. We hardly would we have like a handful of games like that this year. So overall, I mean, if I had to give a rating, maybe a 3 out of 5. I just don't feel
Hmm.
like I like what I see out of Kevin Porter Jr. I like the defense that I see from him. I like the defense and ability, the energy from Kuzma. Um,
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
But
we should.
we gotta
But
do it.
yeah, I would give it a 3. The
Overall.
beginning of the season was very disappointing. I just thought that Giannis and Dame would look a little bit more smoother and polished. I thought that they would get this figured out,
Dude,
and they just
the light from your luxury penthouse, you look like you're in Camino right now, man. Like it's just glass and white and windows. That
yeah,
looks
it's a
fake. Like
it's just
look at this dude.
it's the
Kendrick
Western sky.
Kendrick lives on the
Yeah,
top of Calatrava, if people don't know.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
um, Crib, I don't know. Same question. I don't feel like I know the answer to this for you. Like we all been sort of busy and stuff, but like, how did
Yeah.
the season hit you?
I feel like it's a slow burn for me. Um, the highlight of the season has probably been that they traded Chris Middleton. That's been the best part of the season for me.
Hey, man.
Um, and I think that I understand that there's been a lot of light bulbs that's turned on with Dame's performance or lack of performance in Milwaukee. I think the same thing a little bit with Doc. I think Doc's kind of at the other end of the spectrum. I think where you've seen him, people give him a lot of heat for not being a great coach or overrated coach. I think he's adjusted his coaching style and done some really good things with some of these younger guys. They're probably all fool's gold, like Bledsoe was back in the day. I mean, I think that's probably fair. Like I like what Rollins does, but is he winning you a playoff series or helping you win a playoff series? I don't know. Maybe a playoff game, but not a series. Um, so my bigger question, I think, for the organization is how who are you going to find that's going to be able to play with Giannis? Because there is clearly a style difference between the way Giannis wants to play and the way Giannis feels he's successful, and you could say the same thing for Dame too. You know, he had success, but I think these guys are at both ends of the spectrum. Dame, I think, wants to run a very organized offense, very structured, and that's going to get you limited success. And Giannis wants to run this no structure at all. Let's see what happens. And that also is not going to get you a ton of success. So they, while Doc has done a great job helping these young guys, I think get better or become serviceable. He's done a really poor job um, with the superstars, with reining those guys in. So it's a really lopsided season to me. I'm probably 3.5, 4 out of 5 if I'm giving it a grade, just because I think they made some good moves in getting rid of Middleton. Kuzma is not a plus or a minus to me. He's just better than having Middleton's salary. That's how I look at it. It's $20 million. They don't have to play Middleton next year while he sits on the bench for 60% of the games.
So before we even say anything else, Kendrick, give us. I know you gave us this sort of, but like deep bone thrombosis, wabatosis. Like what are we like? What does that mean, or
It's
what do you
just a
think?
it's just a blood clot that was caught in his calf. I mean, he had been complaining about it for a while. I wonder how long it had been going on, because he missed a few games with calf injuries. But the thing that the limited information I have, I'm no vein specialist or no doctor, but all the traveling that they do, all it takes is for you to get a bruise, a contusion, and then you go and fly at that altitude. It's very easy to catch a clot. That's why they tell a lot of people, especially those with diabetes and circulation issues, to get up and walk around in planes, wear compression tights, and things of that nature, so that they keep that blood flowing. When you're seated, it's just a lot more resistance, and if you already got a bruise there, you just got a stronger possibility of the clotting and blood not being able to get back against those. You got little opener and closer valves that help kind of push it up and not let it come back down, and that's not the technical name, but it
So
happens. I'm surprised it has, and you're starting to see. I mean, I don't think it's happening more often. You got what's his name, Wemby, and you got Dame. These guys are playing an NBA game, getting bumped up, beat up, and then they got all these back to backs. They're back on a plane, flying back and forth, and I think that it could go up a little bit more. The league really needs to do something about all this travel, all these back to backs is, and you see that I've seen qualification for the end of the year awards. It's like not that many, not as many as you expect out of what, about 450 players or something like that. Not
Is
many
it
of them qualified.
is it a family history thing, or is it just like, because it's like, okay, hey, my elbow hurts or whatever, and then if I wasn't a highly paid athlete, like with all these specialists, would I just like work my construction job through it? But because like is the blood clot like, oh, we caught something really scary because we have all these specialists, in your opinion, or is it just like, you know what I mean? Is it like, hey, we were
From
looking for
what
something
I
else and we found a blood clot, or
from
is it?
what I heard, I can't remember who I heard it from, but I heard this that he had been complaining about it, and they ruled out everything, done all the some imaging to rule out that it was some type of strain or muscle pull, and then they did like a echo or that type of scan, and they found the clot. Um, Chris Bosh had a genetic
Oh,
disorder that
that's right.
made him more predisposed to getting clots. I don't know if Wemby, they really haven't given a lot of information. I haven't seen it, where his is coming from or how his started. His could have been an injury too. He had some shoulder issue. And again, whenever you fly, that elevation, it does a lot of wild stuff to your body. You're more susceptible to get clots at higher elevation. So he had a shoulder issue, so that's why his was kind of upper in his chest and up in the upper arm area. So
So
I think it's just
are they
what's that?
glazing us? Like, should he just not play for 6 months? Crib's nodding. Is it one of those things?
That no, I don't think it's one of those things. I think that it's if you're on blood thinners, it takes a while before that stuff gets out of your system. So if you're cranking up the blood thinners to try to break up that clot, so you don't get any more, and then you want to go and try, a contact sport or job, you're setting yourself up for something bad to happen. That's why I think why they say 6 months. They've been doing scans on his clot, and they said it is getting smaller, but I bet he's still on a type of blood thinner. So they got to wean him off of that. So it'll be like they could say like the clot's gone, but I don't think they're going to let him play for a couple weeks, after he stops taking that warfarin or Coumadin or whatever blood thinner that he's on.
And you've been saying all year that we're better basically without him anyway, or I don't know. I feel like you hate Dame the
No,
most. Maybe it's a
no, I don't
tie.
hate Dame. I don't hate Dame. I think that I just don't.
Does I'm trying to make that up.
I just think that, like I think about Dame the way you guys really
Right.
criticize Chris a lot. I just feel like he's playing. He's a great, phenomenal shooter, but a complete overall basketball player. I wouldn't have put him in a top 75. I think that's just ridiculous. That's just recency bias. I think he's a phenomenal shooter. And he can play defense within a great system, but he's got to have all great basketball, defenders on the court with him at the same time. I just think that Dame, like Crib said, he wants to play a certain way. So we grew up, not we grew up, but Giannis and Middleton grew up playing together. Middleton kind of seemed like, man, I'm not going to be better than this guy right now, or we're going to win, and he was content playing that second fiddle. Dame comes in. It isn't that I think Dame is arrogant, but Giannis sees him as the superstar as well. So Giannis says, no, you do you. And it just doesn't work out that way. You can see it. You can see it on the court. It just looks so awkward and clunky. Dame has played with big men too before, so I don't get it. His lobs are not the greatest setting up Giannis. They're slower and
He's
fast breaks.
slow.
They become one of the worst fast break
Mhm.
teams in the league this year, and I think that has a lot to do with Dame in the way he plays. I think he's a great player. I'm not saying that. I just think that if they can't figure it out, he's not a good fit for playing next to Giannis or playing with Giannis.
So what's the difference between him and Steph?
Steph is in a system that has developed around him, and it goes with him or not. Everybody on that team plays to funnel and filter and get Steph the ball. Everybody
Does Steph
plays
play defense?
great. A little bit, yeah.
A little
A little bit. Same
So
as Dame. Same as Dame, but the team isn't centered around Dame. Dame had a measure of decent success in Portland.
so
The
so
biggest
real
That
quick,
team.
Jay
Go ahead,
Jay is
sorry.
here. Jay is here, and I
Jay is
asked.
here.
I asked. Well, we actually started with like rest in peace, Mike Budenholzer again, but I meant to start out asking on a scale of 1 to 10 how this regular season made you feel, and Kendrick and Crib both said like a 3.5 or a 2.5.
Well, I said out of 5. So
Oh,
out
out
of
of
10,
five.
I
Okay,
give it
so
a
we're
6.
prorating.
A 6. Very disappointing in the beginning. Still don't feel great, but I think we can beat the Pacers if we're healthy.
And I didn't say my answer, but it's like a 10 now, but it was like a -10 earlier, but like now.
Okay.
So we'll ask Jay like ultimately, or just anything you want to say about the regular season. But before we move on to playoffs, like how like regular season thoughts.
This sounds like the cheater's answer because it's not a regular season thing. So here's the thing. We are set up to really find out whether we have a good coach or not. Because just like when we had Budenholzer, it was quite clear that he was not able to adapt or scared to adapt. Meaning, I know I get fired if I don't play this person and we lose. So it's safe for me to keep a person that had a track record and not try to do too much because I know I'll get fired if I lose. If I sit somebody who I don't think works in the lineup, but we're paying a ton of money, they're going to fire me, right? And now we are set up once again like we were with those Budenholzer teams where we had great players that he'd been running all season. All of a sudden came to playoffs and he just stopped starting people out of nowhere. Doc in the last couple of weeks has been presented with a blessing or a curse, depending on how you want to look at it. We have several players that have stepped up and shown they have a better tool set that you should play over Dame. Just clear as day. Clear as day. It's not even close. Like all the things that you want Dame to do, they've been showing that and haven't been doing the stupid turnovers and have been creating fast break capabilities. So my score for the season is pre-trade and post-trade. Pre-trade, it was like a 1.5 out of 5, right? Unfortunately, I seemed like I'm 100% locked in. Kendrick had a very diplomatic Dame answer. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is back-to-back seasons where it has been proven that Dame is not as good as his name says he should be by people that are backups and bench players. He doesn't play as good as
Beasley
defense
was the first season.
as Gary Bird or as Beasley. His celebrations aren't as good as Beasley either. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get derailed, Krim. I know I said that just to get you mad, but like straight up, he can't shoot a 3, really. He's got this, and to Kendrick's point, yes, he's got the same problems Middleton has. He takes too long to set up. If he's open for a 3, it's only when he's walking straight up the court and someone doesn't pick him up quick enough. But otherwise, he's got to do that same side dribble to shoot, and everyone times it. And they nerfed him by getting rid of all the I'm looping up my hands and trying to get a foul stuff. So now he doesn't even really have a secondary move, which isn't necessarily his fault. And I do see other players still get that call for some reason. They just said Dame will never get this call again. Is it KPJ? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with abbreviations.
He's got too many nicknames now.
Yeah, we're sticking with KPJ.
I can't believe. Price paid to value is insane on him.
Dude, that guy's fool's gold too.
No, I'm in, baby. I'm in.
Look, okay.
No, I'm in love.
You're not playing him for 35 minutes. You're not playing him for 35
Give
minutes.
him all the millions.
Steals, and he did not play for 35 minutes. That's all you need to say. He had 5 steals. That's 5 offensive possessions that we would have never had. That's a 10-point sprint, a swing if it's on fast breaks. Without him actually
out of a zone, but you're not going to play in the playoffs.
We're not going to play, but
yeah,
you will.
Sure, but
not the whole game.
This goes back to coaching because when it comes down to it, our defense looks so bad, and that's really
5
why
steals against the Pelicans 2 times. No, wait, he went Let's see. He went
Crip,
2, 5,
Crip.
5,
The
and 2
Wolves.
Name another
steals.
player. Name another player who had 5 steals all season. You pick the team. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just be like they were a whack team. We always play whack teams.
It's the end of the season. It's the end of the season. I like him. I think that's a great pickup for them, but he's not clearly better than Dame. He is a piece on this team, but he is not better than Dame.
What
He's
part?
100%
What part
better. We just
are
don't know
you
in the
rating?
playoffs yet.
We don't know yet.
Crib, what
Yeah.
are you rating? As when you're comparing those two players, I mean, they're both guards, so it's not that far of a stretch. What are you comparing when you're saying he's not better than Dame?
Offensively, he's not better than Dame.
Okay.
He doesn't draw the crowd that Dame does, which I think gives you space on the court. He's better defensively. I'll give you that. He's more athletic because he can dunk. Congratulations, and he's faster because he's younger. And but I don't think you're gonna. There's games where you watch him and he's not playing within the structure of the offense. He does force shots, no different than Dame does. I'll agree with you on that. But I think at the end of the game, you're going to trust the ball in Dame's hand more than you're going to trust it in his hand.
Trust is like a. I want to say it's a full.
You got to trust the guys on the court.
You're saying I paid so much money, thus I should. But
No.
like that's really what we're saying. Dame hasn't made a clutch shot he got several ones before he went out, and you can say whether this was blood clot related or whatever, but like he has not really lived up to it. And that's the thing, like
Bomba clock.
you're saying don't trust him because we haven't been there with him, but Dame hasn't done anything for us yet. That is unfortunate to say, especially considering the high price we paid. But like Dame, do you think Dame has tried during the regular season? Because if the answer is yes, tell me the game where it's like, yeah, that's why we traded for this guy. You can't name 3 of them, that's for sure. And he had a giant volume size to go off of this year.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, it's kind of like back to the Packers situation with AJ Hawk. Everybody's like, "Oh, AJ Hawk was a terrible draft pick because he was a 5th overall pick." But if you look at what the guy did, like he had a pretty good career. Did it warrant?
But no one's saying AJ
pick?
Hawk is in the top 50 Green Bay Packers of all time. So that should be on a scale. For instance, KPJ, once again, what we paid for him versus
great.
That's what we paid for Dame. It's not even close. It's
a gold ring. It's a gold ring at the dollar store. It's a gold ring at the dollar store. I get it. I mean, he averaged 1 steal and 0.2 blocks all season.
So I just want to be
clear. He had a great like last 10 games.
I just want to be clear. You're not just completely just titillated by Kevin Porter. Like I'm so, dude, he knows where Giannis is every play. He starts dribbling, and he's like if he had 3 buttons, if this was like an old Sega Genesis, like button C is alley-oop to Giannis, and like button 2 is dribble 20 times until somebody steals it, and like the A is like I'm gonna make this layer. I'm gonna make this like.
What's his best assist game in April?
He does inverted 2-hand dunks. He finishes 2 hands on the break when like dunks. Like you think people are gonna catch him, and then
it's
he
worth
just
2 points.
Jacks on somebody, man. Like I can.
Crib, let me ask you this: both free agents next year. You can sign Dame. He's going to get a raise. He's making $48.7 million this year.
Is he on a 4-year contract?
No, I don't know.
I think this
I
is
thought him and Giannis are up. Him and Giannis are up at the same time.
Exactly. Okay, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, like both are free agents next year. You got to take KPJ or you got to sign Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, to sign him, you're going to have to pay him $60 million.
And the market's going to dictate the contract. And the market's
so
going to dictate the
KPJ,
contract?
you can get him for 25.
You're going to overpay for KPJ, and you're going to.
I'm just. That's
what you're going to. No. I'm saying you are going to overpay.
What do you think the market is
for him?
KPJ, yeah. I mean, he's making a minimum right now, but what do you?
It's so hard.
Is he a free agent right now?
Monopoly money now.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. After next year,
he has a player option, which he's gonna deny.
He'll opt out next year.
Yeah,
What's his player option for next year?
Let's see here. 1 second. I just lost it.
As he's looking though, like seriously, so 1 to 10 or whatever, you're not you watch all the. I know you're a hater, but like you're not like you're like this is fool's gold. You're seeing this guy just take over games. Just like, and you're
Okay,
I don't like it.
I'm just trying not to fall in love with the last 10 games of an NBA season where
2.5
players.
million.
Okay, so he's gonna opt out because yes, he's probably a 25-30 million a year guy. I mean, if what he's done in the last 10 games of this season is going to go into other seasons, then absolutely you take him. But I'm not falling in love with the last 10 games of an NBA season against like the Suns, the Sixers, the Heat, all not playoff teams, the Pelicans who just cleared house, and the
Dude,
Pistons twice.
but he was a baller in Houston.
He
It,
was.
I mean, the guy is a
He
bucket
was.
getter.
He
He's a
is.
bucket getter, you know. So
He
it's
is.
not
He
it's
is.
not the last games. I mean, this guy has a legit career as a bucket getter.
He's averaging 10 points this season, 9.3.
Right.
I mean, I know he didn't probably play a ton.
Yeah,
But
he's sixth or seventh man. He's coming off the bench. It's not.
I
I'm saying, would you pay Dame? Would you pay Dame 60 million, or would you pay Kevin Porter 20?
On the dollar, you pay Kevin Porter Jr. I'm just afraid he becomes what was his Salmons? What was the cat that the Bucks
Salmons.
paid? John Salmons.
Oh, what a great year that was.
I'm just afraid that it's fool's gold because you needed someone to fill that space. You had Kuzma's not shooting it like that. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to take that many attempts. You needed someone to take those buckets or take those shots and get those buckets. And that's all I'm saying. I like him. I'm excited by what he can potentially do in a 10-minute stretch in the playoffs. I just don't want to see him playing 30 minutes in the playoffs.
He's playing 30 minutes in the playoffs.
He's definitely.
He's going to because Dame isn't going to play. He's going to have to because Dame isn't playing.
30
so,
and I think at the end of this series,
go ahead.
He'll either have made his paycheck, $25 million, $30 million a season, or we will see what he what that really is, because
Dame might be better for us in the long run throughout the playoffs. However, against the Pacers specifically, Dame is much worse because even McConnell always gets off on us.
Oh, yeah.
McConnell has 24 and Dame has 32 and Dame has 4 turnovers. That's a wash. Right?
Yeah, 75% of the time, Dame is outplayed by the opposing guard.
Right.
Dude, that's
what it comes down to. That's the easiest math of this. Like Dame going to be on? If you believe Dame can be on fire for 4 games and close it out immediately, then that's a conversation we have. That's not something we have seen.
He's not even playing.
And that is not.
It took him 6 months to get in shape last time. Like, how is he going to be in shape now?
He's not playing.
Do you trust Curry to make a 3 more than you trust Shaq to dunk? No, you trust Shaq to dunk because that's not hard to do. So you pick that math when it's close and you can control both scenarios.
But see, this is why I didn't want the Pacers, because I think the Pacers leads to us having sloppy habits. And I'd have rather had the Knicks, even though the Knicks are probably a little bit better, because we'd have had to play conventional. Giannis would have had to because quiet as is kept, like the version of Giannis we're getting now, something like he's making free throws. He looks incredible a lot of games and he's relaxed. He's not just the incredible spin move man, with a lot of this stuff.
His decision making these last few games, man, has been who are you?
I would victim of the moment, it feels like this is the best Giannis you've ever seen.
It's 5
up
games.
There. I mean, okay, yeah.
It would be on the offensive end for sure.
Definitely
the best.
Yeah, offensive, right.
And you can see it. You can tell
how many sets have they run.
Opposing teams don't know what to do when Giannis has got the ball. He makes that move into the paint. He's pulling 3 people at least. And as long as those guys can make their shots, we got Gary Trent Jr., we got Derry Bird, Kuzma. I don't know.
We got to hope Kuzma is told not to shoot, to be honest. Let's just be straight up. Sure, he could get hot one game, but anybody could.
It's going to take at least one game because he made, 5-6 threes in the last game. And
he doesn't.
In 17 minutes.
That fool's goal scared me. When he made all the threes on my track, he's going to think he's on
Pat
fire.
Connaughton had 43 points.
I thought the same thing.
Magic Pat, back. He's ready.
That was the most Middleton game I have ever seen in my life. Like, hey, it was gonna be 36, but then it went into overtime, so it was 43, and it was like they were playing D League backups, and it was
I
just
will say
like
this:
And couldn't inbound the ball.
Pat's lost a little bit of athleticism, but Pat is a very smart player. Pat knows what needs to be done, and he knows how to do it. His body can't always do it. That is a big difference between Rollins. I would rather have Pat out there than Rollins, but we got to consider defense. But Pat is far smarter and knows what to do, plays with Giannis super well, knows when to feed him, knows when to feed Brook. He's a thinking man out there. He just doesn't have the physical ability. Rollins has better defensive capabilities than Pat, but I trust Pat's brain over almost any of those guards, those sub guards, not Dame or even KPJ. KPJ is just playing street ball. I mean, he's just a baller,
he sure
and he's
is.
just out there.
He
He's just out
sure
there playing
is,
ball.
and it's glorious.
It's fun to watch.
It's fun. It's fantastic, but I don't think it wins you a playoff series.
I actually think, no.
Look,
That's what
we almost beat.
That's where we disagree.
None of these dudes are playing ball.
The Pacers are basically the same as last year, and we almost beat them with Chris Middleton. Dame missed the last 2 games.
Giannis didn't play. Portis
Giannis didn't play at all. Portis got kicked out of 1 game. No, I think that we
almost beat them. That series is over in 6.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, like that.
Of course, but I'm saying that those weren't easy victories.
Indiana's not a better coach.
Chris Middleton alone almost won us 1 game with those 2 overtime threes that he made. Right?
Was that 4? Yeah. Was that game 4?
Yeah, I think we would have tied
or was
it up.
That
I can't remember,
3?
But anyway,
it was in one of the Indiana games.
They didn't beat the brakes off of the Bucks.
But I just think again,
and we were severely hamstrung.
The Brook Lopez of it all playing against the Pacers, like. See, the problem with Doc to me, Doc is like an 80s, 90s coach where he's like, you train your habits and then I roll out the balls. And it's like, what do you want from me? Like, he'll make big lineup changes if it just becomes obvious, but he's not like a modern micromanager.
And it will be interesting to see.
I think the problem
last several games, when he took out all those starters and put in the bench, He did that like 3 games in a row, those 3 or 4 games in a row.
So here's
I think he's seen something.
A side question, just real quick. All the plus minus and all the kind of good lineups says Derry Bird, and also clearly Derry Bird's been hitting shots like every game I wasn't watching. He said Pat Connaughton is 32 for 3 for the season. Yeah, sounds about right. I think Taurean Prince, I don't think is a fake shooter. And that's the problem. If he was just this old guy who isn't really good on defense, even though he shouldn't be guarding 2s, but like every time Taurean Prince shoots, I think it's going in a similar way to kind of Gary Trent. And so this garbage opening package that we have, I think everyone's plus minus kind of gets drugged down because the first quarters are so bad because that's the Brook and Kuz. Is Brook, Cruz, and Taurean Prince like to start these games? And then no matter what, even if we're like up 6, we feel like we should be up 20, or like we're down 6, we should be up 6. And so those first quarters are so garbage. But I think any one of those guys isolated are still basically okay. I mean, but the Brook Lopez thing is like a whole other thing, right? But like, it became kind of fashionable to hate on Taurean Prince. Again, every time he shoots, I think it's going in. Him and Trent, to me, are the most consistent shooters. And like, I haven't seen Derry Bird do it in the playoffs yet. But he's like your classic scrapper kind of guy. But they're going to make some real choices because like we almost got more guys in the rotation. Go ahead, Crib. Fake. That's fake too. Crib is smirking.
I like Derry Bird. Also fool's gold in the playoffs.
We'll see.
Might be. Or he might be a player who only plays good at home. He might be a home shooter.
Okay. He could be your
Pat
Pat C in the finals. Pat Connaughton hit. He could be that guy. I actually think Kevin Porter Jr. is probably more of your of the guys off the bench, the guy that I would say that could rise to an occasion and is ready for those moments is probably Kevin Porter Jr. because he believes he's a starter, and he probably is a starter in the league. All those other guys are resigned to the fact that they're always coming off the bench. Gary Trent Jr. is not a starter anymore. Derry Bird's never starting anywhere.
But he should.
Kuzma,
But let's just call it what it is. So we all we have is regular season to go off of. Obviously, I do agree that we don't know what we're going to get from him in the playoffs. Young guy, all that stuff. However, as long as he
busted
doesn't
shoulder.
shell shocked, his defense is good enough to keep him on the floor, right? As long if he can make 40% from three, that is amazing, right? So
Why is everyone
we don't
talking
know
about
how
his
the refs are
defense?
going to call
What
it,
does he
though.
do defensively
Who?
other than use up all 6 fouls?
Who?
Gary
You got
Bird.
him. You got
No.
6.
You got him, smoke him.
They don't add up.
He
You
scraps
can't
I'm telling you,
rebounds and
every
stuff.
game,
You can't
every
get
game
12
I've
the
been
next
to,
game.
every game I've been to,
You're about
that guy's
swear he
been in
falls asleep in
4
the first
fouls,
quarter every game. He never lets the
4
man
fouls
by.
every
He
game.
stays chest up
Yeah.
and forces
Foul.
a tough thing. Whereas everyone else lets their guy
Foul.
walk right by them,
Right.
and Lopez is too slow to catch up. That is the difference. A tough shot versus an easy shot. That's all we can ask in the NBA where they call foul so easily. So that is what he does. He plays
you
the
see the
best
stat?
defense that he's allowed to play.
Did you see the stat I shared, Crib, the other day about Kuzma and Derry Bird?
Yeah, exactly.
Opponents are scoring the least amount of points against them since the All-Star break. Those two defenders. And then those two were so high, the next team was like almost half as productive defending the shot.
listen, I like him, but they have a quick whistle on that kid.
He's a solid. They do.
That's
They do.
true.
They do have
He's
a
a
quick-
solid defender. They be calling some
That's not
trash
his
on
fault.
him.
Dude,
They
That's
do.
not his fault. He's playing.
No, it's
solid
not
defense.
his fault, but that's the thing that you got to worry about in the playoffs, right? Like
You just got to roll with it.
You can't find yourself in the bonus.
Put someone in there who won't get fouls called on them, but is terrible on defense, and we know will not be good because that's not in their nature. Or leave it up to the refs to screw over a good player who's doing the right thing. You still play what actually might work.
Free throws keep an underperforming team in the game, and so my concern, right?
That's
so
why
my
the
concern with
Pacers got the home versus us because of a booty call by the refs in the first place. We should have home court.
I agreed. That was a travel number one. But anyway, so
never should have been called.
No,
the foul on Giannis.
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care the team.
I guess.
That's terrible.
That was trash. But anyway.
But that's my concern with Indiana is that you will keep them in the game because you're going to put them at the line.
We'll see, man.
My concern is that it's at times going to look so much easier, like our fully armed and operational Bucks team. Like it'll seem so easy that we'll fall back to Giannis laughing, shimmy shake Giannis, as opposed to like dead serious Giannis. Quiet as is kept. The other thing about Kevin Porter Jr. that's like a low key kind of slick flop thing. He shoots these threes and then he holds two hands up like this and just creates kind of like if you imagine like in a ninja movie, like blocking with two hands out, and he like shoots, and then he puts like almost like the refs picking up the field goal, and he shoots, and then two hands go forward, and he just clips everybody up top, and so it doesn't look like his legs are flopping so much, but he's locking arms, and he's already like a tippy toe. He almost shoots like Hicks a little bit, Jay. Like he's a tippy toe jump forward kind of shooter. I want to at least let's do the Kuzma round table. I mean, of course, I love them because they moved Chris for him, but it's possible I'm too biased in this. People have also online spaces reveled in like him apparently being the worst player in NBA history because of plus minus and stuff like that. So there's this kind of weird dichotomy where you see him making positive. He's a spaz. I mean, it's Kyle Spazma. He's a spaz kind of player, but he's also having these 12-point quarters. But then I don't know if they can always finish the game with him. But he can also kind of get a stop on like Luka or Tatum. But like he's the wild card. He's completely flies by the seat of his pants, unpredictable. Right, like he's that guy. I'm not married to it but I do think people are kind of missing the forest for the trees a little bit. Let's start. Jay, we'll start with you.
Yeah. So look. this isn't even hard for me to say. 60 to 70% of our players already do stupid stuff. It's just his looks more ridiculous. They're just as dumb. They're just as dumb as what Kuzma does. But Kuzma, like anyone who doesn't watch sports can see that it seems like he slipped on a banana peel. Like he's in a position he shouldn't be before he forces anything. So I don't like turnovers, but
I don't like
everyone,
turnovers.
the majority of these dudes do the exact same thing. It just doesn't look as physically bad because what he does is almost embarrassing. You feel bad for him, like, man, this seems like it's going to go on Shackton or something like that, right? The defense and the rebounding, it is still the thing that will kill us the most. Lopez cannot move within 3 inches, and he's our best rebounder at these days. Giannis, hopefully he turns it up in the playoffs, but he gets caught sleeping so often, not boxing out and getting his hands ready that we give up easy stuff. We need people who are going to scrap because Giannis, at least in the regular season, is refusing to do it. So to me, Kuzma is exactly who you need. Someone who is hard to score on, who is very long. You wish you could talk him out of trying to think that we need him to score. That's really the only thing, because he's not really the best option. What you would hope you could get into Kuzma's head is, hey, drive to like kick, but a lot of times people are going to be so afraid of Giannis that's just going to be there. When they just completely fail their assignment, go ahead, take it the next 2 feet to the hoop. But otherwise, your mid range and your threes, like I don't want to get him in like such a mindset that he shouldn't shoot open threes. But like literally, everyone else is going to probably be a better 3-point shooter besides Giannis on the floor.
I feel like you should be able to take the first two, and if you go 0 for 2, it's like, okay, chill. Like it's actual, like it's not the real NBA. It's like the way it was in the 80s. It's like, go ahead, take your first quarter threes. Let's see. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
we
needs an
can't
inner
allow him to go 0
monologue.
for
Like
6.
I just screwed up twice. I can't do it 3 times. Whether that's bad passing or running a fast break, that it's a 1-on-4 versus that he's
Right.
just pushing too hard and doesn't have numbers and he's going to leave his feet and pass rather than like make sure he's got a clean lane. Yeah, it's all that.
Kendrick.
So I'm still high on him for what we traded him for because Middleton is shut down for the season, is he not? Yeah. So yeah.
Middleton was, you guys already know, one of my favorite Bucks. He was just washed, and
Was
it's
he really?
unfortunate.
I
Yeah,
actually,
he
I
was
don't think I've
washed.
ever heard you. I'm not being sarcastic. I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Say which part that he was
That he's
washed.
one of your favorite Bucks.
I
I thought you
said
was
one of them.
just that much of a contrarian. Okay,
I can
okay,
have 100.
okay. No, that's
No,
fine.
no, definitely one of my favorite. Terry Cummings, Sidney Moncrief, Giannis.
He's definitely in my top 80.
Good for you. Anyway, my point is that his body's failing him. I think that the Bucks had to do that move financially. I think that was a great move. Kuzma is not a Middleton replacement. Kuzma is a salary, drop down and getting us under salary. It enabled us to be able to make some other moves. We would have been locked. They would have taken I don't even know if we have a first round draft pick, but that would have dropped down to the last pick of the round. So a lot of this stuff had to be done. The trade had to be done, and unfortunately his body just broke down on him. Kuzma is Pat Connaughton. He's a tall, light-skinned Pat Connaughton. He's a hustle guy.
Your
He's
face
not going to
blinds.
do anything phenomenal.
That's funny as all
But,
A light-skinned Pat Connaughton.
dude,
You're like the
look at what you
Family
get
Guy
out of him.
swatch meme.
It's
Like,
just funny that you call him light-skinned.
Look
Pat
at what you
Connaughton
get
is
out of
white.
him. What Pat used to be able to do at that age, and that is the same dude running around there doing stuff you're really not sure if it's going to work out. So he's a mix between Thanasis and Pat Connaughton.
everything darker than
the
everything lighter than
stupid-
peanut butter. Kendrick just
Because the
seems
stupid
exactly
stuff
the
that he
same.
does, you'd be like, come on, man. But he's a good energy guy. He hustles. He boxes out. He gets some rebounds here and there. I'm surprised to see his average rebounds is below 5. No, it's 5.6. I thought it was higher than that. But, we're going to need his 10, 12, 14 points a game and, 4, 5, 6 rebounds. We're going to need him. He's available, so, and he's not trash, that little jump hook, I don't know how it goes in. I don't think it's going in anytime, but it goes in about half the time. So I like Kuzma. I'm glad that we did the trade just because of the financial flexibility. I'm a Bucks fan before I'm an individual player, but it had to be done.
I just feel like honestly, like the same thing, and this is I'm turning your argument against you, or maybe I'm just agreeing with you. The same reason all of us are to some degree saying, "Man, it's kind of cool if Lillard doesn't come back," is the same thing with Chris. We didn't need neither of them dudes, honestly. Like, I mean, if and we've said this 100 episodes, or it's like if you could construct a team of defense and shooting, a little bit of playmaking, it'd have been fine. And now we got, Lillard and Middleton, not too many similarities, but we just got these like kind of ISO guys, and and we got this scrap heap. And the whole point is like we got this scrap heap guy, like the whole Bucks team. And again, now I'm just gonna hate on everybody, right? And I don't even mean to, but like if I'm a defense attorney, like I don't really believe this to this degree. But every single player the Bucks have had, like since 2014, has basically been like a scrap heap guy or not that good, or pretty good.
True.
Bledsoe Drew pretty good. Middleton pretty good. Brogdon second rounder. Middleton was a throw in on the trade. KPJ wasn't even playing in his country or whatever, and you know why, but like that, right? Kuzma, like nobody thought Kuzma was any good. Brook Lopez, like Lakers gave him away. Like Torian, like you can go up and down the lineup, and with very few exceptions, we've had just a bunch of dudes, and like Giannis is the sun that everybody else revolves around, and we get good free throw making Giannis. All of a sudden, everybody looks awesome. But like, who's the pedigree guy? Jabari was a pedigree guy, but like that didn't mean anything. But like we haven't had any blue chippers really for 10 years. We've had Giannis and a few okay guys
They
and just
just
some
drafted
dudes.
so poorly. They drafted so poorly. They traded a lot of picks to try to finish off the team around Giannis, and and right now Giannis and Dame, they make more than half the salary for the
George
team.
Hill,
That's
pretty good NBA guy. Look
pretty
awesome.
good
The Pat Connaughton, he was so much
for
better than
sure.
Rashad Vaughn. And it was like,
But that's
but like
how
just
that's
these
how
just like
every team is
replacement
made
level
up, though,
players.
Ben. Every team is like that, except for Houston and Golden State. They happen to hit on like two or three drafts, but Houston, that's a very young team. Detroit's a very young team. They're not making a ton of money, so those teams can go out and get some decent caliber vets to fill in the rest, and then those guys are growing up together. But
Okay, see,
eventually, when they
Giannis needed.
start to make 40, 50 those max salaries, you're going to see them look just like the Bucks.
OKC is the perfect team for a Giannis.
OKC,
It's
Houston.
just we got dudes who work hard. We got a bunch of dudes who care and work hard around one superstar. That's like the model. We'll see whether Shea is up to it in the playoffs, but like literally, if you have dudes who care about winning, that is the number one metrics on whether you win or not.
But Craig
Half these
asked 4
dudes,
seconds ago in the chat, like, when is Jericho back? And nobody even knew who Jericho was before. It's this guy that we covet so
right?
much. Like, we covet like replacement level NBA athletes because we just didn't have it. And we kept being like, oh, got to keep this guy, got to keep that guy. And it's like, no, we need this version of Giannis. So, Crib, go ahead. Kuzma or anything.
Kuzma.
I mean, I think he's just another guy. Like Ken said, you're going to need his 14 points, his 5 rebounds. You're going to need 8 points from Gary Trent. You're going to need probably 10 or 12 from Porter Jr. Like, you're going to need those guys to be successful in the playoffs. So, we've talked about this again forever. You just need guys who play defense and who care. I do believe that they have probably in their last 2 seasons, 3 seasons. What was the season where Middleton got hurt in the Boston series?
22.
Is that 3 ago?
22.
So this might be the most unknown team that they have going into the playoffs, and also the first team we've seen in a while that could surprise some people. Like, I don't think anybody here would be shocked if they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Bucks Lakers.
Would you be shocked?
It's going to
Would
be
you be
Bucks
shocked
Lakers.
by that?
Let me tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Would I be
You got the
shocked?
script?
I would be. I really don't think they're good enough to be.
They could beat the Knicks.
Yeah,
We don't have to worry about
I
that
don't
anymore.
think I don't think they can beat Boston or Cleveland.
We get Cleveland, and by the time
And you can beat Cleveland too.
Cleveland's really good, but by the time we're up and rolling with Cleveland, this is just fantasy I want to have, so just roll with me, right?
Okay,
Then
I'm
the
down with it.
league is going to cheat so hard for the Lakers. The Lakers are going to get every call, and they're going to be like, they already decided. They already decided it's Lakers Celtics. But by the time we get to the third round, we're going to look so good that they're gonna be like, oh, what? Maybe Bucks, maybe Bucks Lakers, maybe that'd be a little bit better. Nobody really cares about Jason Tatum.
Giannis James, Giannis and King James. Okay,
Right. Kendrick can't even see Tatum because he falls on the light skin the spectrum of Pat. Kendrick sees Tatum and just sees
I'm
Pat
just describing
Connaughton. He
people.
sees different words.
he's just a little bit
Like
better. He's just a little bit lighter skinned
Right.
Pat Connaughton. That's all Tatum is. Less tattoos.
He's
Tatum
just
is
Kuzma with a beard.
Tatum is an athletic Chris Middleton.
This dude came up to me and said I look like Matt Barnes the other day, and I'm like, no, I don't.
You know you don't look like Matt Barnes. No one would go up to Matt Barnes and say that too much to his face.
Matt Barnes, I'm like, what does that mean? My hair looks good today. I don't know what that is.
Right.
No,
Right.
we're gonna be rolling so much by the third round
Okay.
that they're gonna be like, hey, we're just gonna. They're not even gonna cheat for us. They're just gonna call it fair, and then it's gonna be Bucks Lakers, and the Lakers are gonna sweep us because you can't beat 8. You can't beat 5 plus 3. But right now, and of course, if we lose the Pacers in game 1, we just don't have to like come back to this. But I don't see why we can't come out of the East right now.
I wish we
Boston's good.
The Pacers.
Cleveland's good.
What'd you say, Jay?
I would rather play any team in the East besides the Pacers.
Me too. That was the whole thing. Yeah, I don't.
But it'll be so sweet to beat those fool's gold team.
We
should
would have
never
destroyed.
Every time we've lost to them, like we shouldn't have. That's the problem.
That's
right?
the truth.
We went 3-1 this year or this season, and it was only because of a bogus call and a
travel foul
and a travel circus shot.
But we're going to be up 11
Halliburton
with
was
3 minutes
terrible.
left, and it's going to be a 1-possession game by the end. Like, we're going to be up 12, and I'm never going to feel comfortable like being up on the Pacers.
Well, that's
okay.
Why
So let me ask you.
That's why I do believe that Giannis, Portis, and even Lillard have that killer instinct. They're not going to let this team just slough off and be goofy.
Who shoots more free throws in this series?
Bucks or Pacers, you're saying?
Yeah,
or, or player.
Bucks or Pacers as a team.
If Lillard doesn't play,
Dame ain't shooting free throws anyway. He ain't getting none of those calls.
He's starting to get some of them. But he still gets his fair share, but not like it was before when he was in Portland. If Dame doesn't play, the Pacers for sure, 1,000%. But if Dame plays, I think we'll get some calls.
And how? That's what I don't understand.
And how he plays?
How do I agree with you. I'm just like, how do the Pacers get more free throws when you have a guy like Giannis who, is just destroyed every time he touches the ball?
Well, Giannis, like Shaq, like all big men, they don't get the calls. A jump shooter can get a call from a glaze, just
amazing.
A whisk of the hair on the arm. But a guy going to the rim gets just blasted. The other day, 2 refs seen him. They grabbed his arm literally and snatched it away from him, and they didn't give him the call. Give Brunson that. Give Curry that. Any other jump shooter, that's not going to happen. Those guys, Jimmy Butler gets so many calls, and that dude is one of the biggest grifters left out around that they don't really crack down on. Did you guys see Draymond missed that bucket that would have tied it up? That big scrub, best player in the NBA.
I didn't see it. I just heard about it.
He was trying so
Curry's
hard.
the reason they lost that game, though. Curry.
I'm so disappointed.
Curry was the only reason they were that close.
No. Did you watch it? He had 8 turnovers. He got absolutely on fire to shoot 50%. He had screwed up the first 3 quarters and even the turnovers in overtime.
He did.
Can someone please tell me the difference?
Between what?
Someone please tell me the difference.
Between what?
Between Curry and Dame.
I was trying to get that. All right, here's this is what it is. This is what it is. One, Draymond runs the offense, and Curry is in great shape. He runs without the ball, and he's got a quicker release.
Yes.
Okay. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
He runs.
Curry is
off
moving
the ball
relentlessly. Dame, if he don't got the ball, he just camps out.
He
and
puts
just watches
on whoever's guarding him.
And he does have a faster release. Yep.
Well, I feel like Dame's natural.
Walking to Lopez and hoping it's not a turnover. Like literally, it's night and day. One is like working away from the hoop. The other one is putting stress on that defender to like be an amazing athlete in great shape who's also determined not to give him an inch, which is hard over 4 quarters.
And I feel like Steph's number one shot is still the open three that he gets to, whereas Dame's number one shot is the left 3-point line sidestep. Like that's the shot he'd want more than anything.
Yep.
Or like the half court, the 3 steps inside a half court shot, like the heat check.
Walking towards the hoop,
circus shots that they make 30% of the time.
Right.
And people want to give him a top 75 award for that.
So I want to read this
and
comment.
So what would you need for them? So I feel like Dame is running the offense, right? And I agree with what Jay saying too. Like Steph doesn't run the offense. So who?
That's why I'd rather have Kobe. That's why
in?
I'd still rather have Kobe because they're 2 guards.
They shouldn't
I'd rather have Kobe. I think the variance is such. I think Kobe.
What would you need to do to get Dame to be running like Steph? It's too late now, obviously, in his career. But if you can bring it
if Dame came back, I hope Doc plays him like he plays Derry Bird or some of these other players.
Dude, we wanted for 27 years, since before I was born, when the Continental Divide was being formed, we wanted Middleton to be a 6-man. And now we are going to get second round 6-man Dame Lillard. Like, can you see the vision? Right? This is not going to happen because I'm sure they're just going to lie to us and they're just going to lie to Name, and Name's going to like put it back out, and then they're going to tell Chris Haynes some stuff, and they're just going to keep putting it out. But like, at some point, if we make a deep run, he should come back, right? Theoretically, maybe they're just lying to us.
Just not against the
Pacers. Not against the Pacers.
You put him in a game where it's just like, because if he can outright win you one, but not cost you all the others where he can't win you it, that's really the sweet spot. Can he shoot 3 shots and go 33% and stop, or is he going to shoot 2 for 10 every game?
That's the question.
That's the problem. Right? Because if he's going to shoot 2 for 10 every game, you know who shoots a higher percentage than that? Every other 3-point shooter on our team.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's available, Doc's going to play him.
And I feel like Trent's going to go 2 for 5. Right. Well, yeah.
He might.
I think Trent will go 2 for 5. I think that's accurate.
But if Randall, and I count your chickens before the hatch, but if we blow the doors off the Pacers and we're up 2-1 or 3-0 or something like if we create a sample size of, and it could just be that we get hot or whatever, but if we start really looking like a really good version of the Bucks, it makes it easier than just kind of falling back on the star system. But so
we'll see.
So Kendrick,
yes,
was LeBron at Kobe's funeral?
I don't know. Is there rumors that he wasn't? I don't really.
Oh, you missed all this.
I don't like any LeBron news.
I wasn't there, blocked. So I can't tell you.
I don't know.
I saw this.
Supposedly not there?
No. Allegedly, he wasn't there.
This is fascinating. This is my favorite conspiracy theory now. So no one caught up on it?
No,
I did. I watched the.
I didn't want to repeat it. I just saw a link and I'm like, I don't care enough about this to click yes or no because I don't care. Yeah. But I understood why it was making the rounds for those who do.
Crib.
My guess is he wasn't there.
So
it would be on brand for him not to be there, especially if he did not get an opportunity to have a microphone in his hand.
So the summary of it. I mean, this is just this is like the consistent like Watergate, like the cover up is better than a crime. Nobody cares. Nobody noticed. But like he got into a back and forth with Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith was like, I'm not going to talk about how you weren't at Kobe's funeral and why. Right. And then he got community noted, and like somebody was like, well, no, he was there. Right. So then both Ethan Strauss and Pablo Torre do independent investigations and interview a bunch of people, and a bunch of people were like, he wasn't there. They're like security guards. They talked to people. They talked to like Jeannie Buss on the record said something like she didn't see him. So basically he probably wasn't invited because it's not like but it was like this weird thing. Like on the record, people asked him that day. So they drug up the old like press conference of the day, and they were like, where you were, and he's like, hey, I appreciate you asking that, but I was in my own space or whatever, and he just like didn't answer right. So it just became like this long drawn out thing, and ultimately I just think he's not that good of a public speaker and didn't want to speak after Jordan, who like who like I just think he just didn't want to I don't even mean like shade, but just like I just don't like he's not that smart. He's not that good of a speaker. I just don't think he wanted to do it or whatever. Like his championship speeches are all terrible. Like the stuff he says is uniformly kind of dumb, like off prompter. But what's funny is he's such a pathological liar. Like that's the most fun thing about it. He just lied about being there. And so they Jay just like this Zapruder film. Tarasi or one of these women basketball players.
Back and to the left.
Right. So
Back
she
and
gestures and like, so she gestures and she was like, and so of course, like Tarasi or whichever one it is, I don't think it was Sue Bird, right? Tarasi's giving a speech at Kobe's funeral and she gestures like, because of course they have to glaze his deceased daughter. And she's like, oh, she had a turnaround. And she was like, LeBron don't even have a turnaround. And like, and then she gestures, but then they're like, but side angle shows she wasn't gesturing at LeBron. And so they do all this research and
They just show an
all
empty
these
chair.
and then there's this whole thing because the Staples Center is technically his workspace, he can technically not be lying because he could have been anywhere in the building, but like he wasn't there. Anyway, it's kind of hard to describe if nobody was familiar.
No, you got me invested because now I would definitely watch an hour and a half dumb Netflix thing where they do too deep of a dive of this with like suspenseful music that is just like almost like a cliche documentary, a mockumentary on the whole
the
thing.
Inside Edition.
Sure.
Okay, but if you go back though, it actually makes a ton of sense for him not to be there. I don't know that it's his public speaking. Definitely could be. But I mean, he had only been with the Lakers for 2 years, I think, when Kobe died. And I don't think, they were on the Redeem team together. Yeah. But Kobe idolized Jordan. So it would make sense for Jordan to be there. Jordan's a retired player, etc. LeBron also does not have a relationship with Jordan today. Like, he's too busy trying to prove to the world that he is the greatest player of all time. Nobody wants that guy in the room. Why would you want that guy in the room who's constantly having to prove his worth?
What's going to
correct
be
me if I'm wrong. This is a thing though, because LeBron like tried to make it seem like him and Kobe came from the same womb where he died though. This was right around the pandemic when they I think everybody remembers that part of it. And so to hear like now it's like he wasn't even there.
When he came off the plane and he was crying. He was crying on the tarmac.
There was also something at a Lakers game.
Yes,
Again,
remember that.
I've listened to like 3 podcasts on this. There's also something during a Laker game where he's like, he had a speech and he was like, LA, I wouldn't be good if I read this speech. And so he like balls up the speech and he's like, I'm going to speak off the dome, LA. And they clap or whatever. But then it's like LeBron, so he doesn't say anything or whatever. It's going to be really funny because, like, I hated Aaron Rodgers I still hate Aaron Rodgers. Them Lakers fans don't want Luka to pass Kobe. But they also hate LeBron. So if you're a little bit younger than me, like I'm like exactly Kobe's age. Like if you're 40 and you came up with Kobe, if you're like 35, not only do you not want LeBron to pass Kobe, but you don't want Luka to get too much shine either. So I think it's going to be a weird sort of when the refs give them 27 free throws a game apiece, it's going to be this weird sort of, trust me, there's going to be politics over who gets finals MVP. There's going to be politics over all of that kind of stuff. Because again, if you're not old enough for Magic Johnson, it's all Kobe Bryant. They pick Kobe over Shaq.
Luka one thing. We don't even need to get to that point. They won't give Luka they be trying to give a LeBron like trophies for participation like he ain't actually good nowadays. Like to have to play in tournament, I think was to get LeBron one more chip that someone else couldn't possibly have because we just made something up. There's no way. They try to give LeBron championship like MVPs when his team lost. Multiple times. They can't stop talking about it. We all know where this is going. They are not giving donut-fed Luka one thing while LeBron is still there.
Did you see the game where it was like third quarter and he didn't have 10 points?
LeBron, that could be the game of the season. Because like half the time he's like been trying to turn it up without getting hurt, but he's basically been just coasting. And until they had Luka, he wasn't really trying at all.
Doris Burke and whoever she was, doing the show on ESPN, it was just like, oh, must watch TV. Is LeBron going to get 10 points? I mean, they talked that thing up forever. I got a notice on my phone, like, is LeBron's streak going to end? Blah, blah, blah. It was like, man.
His streak of what?
Who is this for? You're like, who is this for? Right? So there's people who don't follow basketball who just like, I know LeBron, that's name recognition. But everyone else who actually would turn to ESPN to watch a basketball story,
to see if LeBron's going
we're
to
not
score
dumb
10
enough to
points.
think this is cool.
Dude, the funniest thing, since this is deep enough in the podcast where like the real hating will come out, is whatever NCAA tournament game it was. And people were like, "Oh, what a terrible call. We only got one buzzer beater and what a terrible call." And I looked on Reddit and it was Lisa. They
No.
call it Sweet 16 game or whatever game that was. And I was like, "Yeah, that's about right."
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, oh, yeah.
Ho,
Yeah.
ho!
Oh my goodness. But I also, it's a weird kind of thing actually, and we're a little bit of, I'm not an announcer snob, I don't care, but like, if randomly I'm listening, like I listen to the Lakers broadcaster, a lot of those West Coast trips, like the first one that clicks up will just be the home team, and so you just listen to that sometimes. And this is partially Marcus's fault too, but I think they kind of do more of a baseball call where they're just, I feel like they don't get up for threes. Where if you listen to some other broadcast, and I'm not even saying it's better, but if someone makes a three, it'd just be some bench warmer, and they're like, they get up for like the Sixers player who'd have hit a three like every time. They're like, oh, and now we go, like every single time. There's no, hey, I'm gonna finish this anecdote, and oh, and by the way, somebody hit a shot. They like some kind of way like maintain the energy level a little bit higher, but yeah,
Marcus, the other game, like it almost seemed like he felt bad for the other team because kept saying, "Oh no!" Every time one of our guys got free to dunk, it was so funny to me. Like he's like, "Oh, I mean, oh no, good thing."
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they just look. I like him. He's fine. Bring back Johnny Mac.
Bring back Johnny Mac. Do you think Marcus? I guarantee, and he's too old at this point. So like, I don't think anybody knows who Marcus Johnson is except for the movies like that. How mad is he that like Kendrick Perkins and Gilbert Arenas and all these just dumbest, the
can you believe
dumbest discourse, the dumbest guys? Like Marcus Jackson,
Yep.
Johnson is really talented
Yep.
at a lot of stuff he did, and if he'd have like actually blown up with the Clippers after he left the Bucks, maybe he'd have been more of an. I mean, he left for LA and was in White Men Can't Jump and Blue Chips and a bunch of stuff, but like they just, I don't know, they put on the most unintelligent dude saying the most unintelligent stuff like on purpose at this
On
point.
purpose.
Dumber
Yeah,
every year.
Yeah. I don't even watch any of those shows anymore.
No, they're,
Yeah,
they're
I
still
don't-
they're still trading Giannis. They're still trading
Just-
Giannis, and they're
Yeah.
still doing the same stuff.
Are
Let me-
they trading the Joker?
Speaking
All
of
their
which,
turmoil?
Right.
y'all saw that
How come that's never.
How come we can't hear that talk every 5 seconds?
Y'all saw that
Jay?
Joker assist I put up the video for, right? The one that got him the average triple double.
Yep.
Where he handed
Yeah.
off to a dude who dribbled out the three, stopped, then drove later, 3 seconds later scored. They're like, he got it. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this how we've been accounting his assists all year?
It's always been whack, but
Ever since Brooke didn't get that defensive player of the year, and I could count during the games how many blocks he should have got, and then watch the other games where they said they were fudging the numbers, and you could watch like how they were getting. I'm just like, yo, these things don't count anymore. They got their hands in the gambling pool, and now it's just like we got too much money riding one way.
Kendrick,
Yep.
we won a championship this year. Brooke Lopez then becomes the second greatest buck of this era, right?
The second greatest buck.
If we go deep now, he came with Budenholzer, right? If we go deep now, it'll
if
be
he
Brooke
balls
Lopez
out-
got you 2 championships.
If he balls out, for sure.
If he balls like
He won't be the second. He can't be the second.
It'd
I
be the
just need him to
Milwaukee
knock
Bucks,
people
Scottie
over.
Pippen.
dude,
Because
That is accurate.
it's got to be
Milwaukee Bucks,
Kareem.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Yes.
right. That's exactly what it is. Dude, seriously, if any swingman comes at Brooke Lopez should put him in the front row because it's going in.
He never will. He
Like
never will.
They make
I wish he
100%
could
of
get
layups on him.
just a drop of Shaq mentality because
You know why that they make those, right?
They don't even think he's there. Why?
It's like practicing again. You know, they got those like brooms that they use or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's not hard.
It's the same thing. Oh, he's
can't
just
move.
going straight. Just go
But
over
if-
8 feet. You'll be
If
fine.
he just plays
Kissing
with
off
a
the glass
little
right
bit
here.
of what he really is, this dude is almost 300 pounds and he plays like he is 140 pounds.
Well, it's like he's
We
trying
need
to
him to
show,
be Greg
he's trying to show the
Ostertag.
refs that he's not fouling, and he's like doing this, and he's like giving jazz hands. He gives jazz hands like, "Oh, I didn't touch him," and it's like, "No, just drive through him." He does like this, like the tweak motion, and he's
I
like
was a
doing
coach
this.
and I told
and it's
him
like,
yet a million
knock
times,
someone over.
stop bringing the ball down. Isn't that like a JV on up rule? Big man, don't bring the ball down. Keep
Oh
the
yeah,
ball.
no, he's
You get
gotten
the ball
worse.
high. Keep the
That's
ball up
gotten much
high.
worse this season.
Ain't nobody getting it from you. Keep the ball
And
up
he
high.
then he
Shoot
goes
it.
like this.
Dude,
Always swooping down, trying to grip the foul. They ain't giving your big butt no foul.
we're gonna play
Yeah.
him.
Stop
We're
it.
gonna play him 22 minutes. We're gonna
They're
play
gonna play him
Portis
too
22
much.
minutes. Whatever Jericho is gonna come back and play. We're gonna get the best out of everybody. Because look, we play Brook Lopez too much. Like that's not his fault. He's a million
Jericho's
dollars.
going to be back. We know this.
I don't know. I'm just making up stuff.
I
I
think
want
he
Oh,
to.
will.
okay.
I feel like we're going too
Hey,
negative. I'm just
I
gonna.
think
I
he
don't
will.
think you can play Jericho now unless you need like foul, like security or some kind of issue. Didn't play with the team enough for you just to throw Jericho out there.
You could throw him in there. Get you some rebounds. Give Brooke a spell. You don't have another big man, legit big man.
Yeah, I like letting him give Brook. You split Brook's minutes that he can't play. Like, what are you going to, did you say 22, 25 minutes for Brook? And the rest of his time gets split between Bobby and Jericho.
I
Jericho.
just don't know why we have to start him
Who?
anymore. Brook Lopez.
Oh,
I don't
I
know why
still
we have to.
start him.
I don't know why we have
Oh,
to start
that's
him. Just sneak him in there here and there, man. Like
they
Because
can't.
they can't. They're not going to play fast.
every
That's
single
why you
game.
keep him out there.
Every single game I watched this year, we're down 26-18. Like every single,
Yeah.
like it's so frustrating. And you're just
Too,
like,
too often, that's for sure.
hey,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I
start
think he's
watching
good
him.
against the Pacers, though. I think he's good against the Pacers because
If
Pacers are
he
kind of small.
No,
he's good if
Halliburton's got a floater. He's never gonna like. Halliburton's gonna get past his first man on the screen. Brook will not play it right or
And then
be too far
Halliburton will
away.
trick another shot because that's
Halliburton
just what
has
he
been
does.
that, and that's one thing I did say. Halliburton was much worse in the earlier part of the season than he has
than
been
he is now.
recently.
Yeah, that's yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So when we were winning, Halliburton was terrible. So that's not good news.
Well,
And
he
the thing is
he
too,
won that game against the Bucks, so he
if you
was no,
hoop
he's
as
riding
much as
high.
like we get mad at the TV, but we do understand that when like Brook Lopez is under the paint, like his foot is on the dotted line. Realistically, I don't expect him to run out to a guy who's been open and has been looking at for 1 second. It makes you mad, but it's like okay, no point in running at him now. And it's just like
So
we
now
get
you
put
just gave up rebounding position in case he missed.
right. He's just gonna
Yeah,
stand there.
yeah.
Um, let me read this real quick. So this is 11 days ago YouTube comment, but I wanted to read this is from user Hodunk, which the name only makes sense now that I read it out loud. Podunk, P-E-A-U dunk. He wrote this like a couple episodes ago, but he said the dynamics of working through personalities, which apparently something I said is spot on. He says basketball is the most vibes influenced and has the highest potential for shared flow of any team spot. If a top player on a team doesn't have a bit of an emotional coach in them, it could be tough because it has to come from somewhere. So the stat heads, the historians, the highlight watchers haven't felt this yet. And he says that an open run, anybody can get hot and win a few games, but unless there's great talent disparity, it usually takes a player coach to run the gym. If you're the number one option, then, I think this is kind of in relation to Giannis and kind of part of the criticism of Giannis, or basically just what we want for Giannis. If you're the number one guy, you got to get the guys to buy into a hierarchy, make them feel good about how they're helping the team, then lay back and take over when necessary. If two, then if you're the number two, figure out how to make the number one's job easier. If you're number three, figure out how to make the two jobs easier, etc. But then he asked this question, and I wanted to kind of get to it, but I don't think I'm going to go solo anytime soon. He says, and I'll put this to the group, is emotional intelligence part of what analytics and youth basketball culture have robbed from the beautiful game? Jay.
Is emotional intelligence what's been robbed from the game? Emotional intelligence. Yeah, I would say if I have to say yes or no, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that it's like a casualty of it, right? Because if you are the man at your school and you are obviously looking like you're going somewhere, there's going to be one maybe good coach who's trying to get you to be more than yourself while everyone else is telling you, hey, don't worry about it. You're the best thing. Just keep doing ... and don't worry about the team. And like the emotional intelligence, most hoopers, at least in the 90s and 80s in this country, were born from like, I play with my friends and my friends want to embarrass me and vice versa. And thus I get better and emotionally stronger to deal with these scenarios. And they become forged better because it's not about I'm afraid of messing up. It is you're not taking this from me. And there's not enough of that. You're not taking this. And this goes to KPJ again. He's got that you're not going to take this from me thing. Where most players are just like, I go to the corner and I shoot a three, and then I switch on the screen. But that's no one's fault because it's a switch on the screen. Like the emotional intelligence that the players lack nowadays is just they've been constructed in a way that doesn't allow you to be better than an average player, really. You know what I mean? Like there's the like Anthony Edwards, who just doesn't look like he was born this decade. He looks like he came from the 90s, right? Like he's starting to pull up a little bit too much, but anyways, that's where I would stand. You?
Crib, Kendrick.
Now you said has what robbed
Well,
players
basically,
of
I mean,
emotional
I think
intelligence?
this is a direct kind of reference a little bit to like Let It Fly or just play random or just any of this kind of stuff. We're kind of trying to come out of the play random kind of era because you almost on some level wish that like, not that I'm saying I wish Kid will. Kid is the coach now. Doc Rivers is the coach, right? So it's kind of the same thing, but you kind of wish Budenholzer kind of taught them some habits on how to be more efficient. And then later on we had like some crazy unholy hybrid of the best parts of Griffin, but none of the bad parts, and like the good parts of Kidd, but none of the bad parts. And I don't know if Doc Rivers has any good parts except he played for Marquette, but like, but basically, and this is the thing that I tend to up until this new version of Giannis, which I'm just adore. Like, but the kind of the conversation around Giannis and Joker is just like, well, yeah, he takes a bunch of plays off on defense, but I feel like he at least thinks he's taking off the right plays. Where I feel like for the longest time this team was just basically the YOLO Bucks, right? But also I don't. I feel like there's a few dumb teams. I feel like it's. Would you say it's half and half? I feel like the Sixers have always been idiots. The Sixers have been idiots the entire Embiid era, right? And it's kind of been us, and we hated kind of being associated with those dumb teams. Whoever Chris Paul happened to be playing for, whoever Paul George happened to be playing, like some of those teams, all right. But then there are other teams that kind of I feel like manufacture office in a better way, and you find out that those teams kind of tend to work better in the postseason than those teams who have like one plan and it's the same plan. And plan A, B, and C is all like it's all plan A.
Well, it's reps, right? So if no one is actually playing, my personal opinion, no one's really playing basketball for the regular season. If there are teams playing, it's like 3 or 4 teams who are actually playing. Everyone else is just like going through the motions and hoping they make more shots for the night. It's not it's not competition. And how you know it's not competition? Because if you watch the Warriors game versus the Clippers or the Bucks trying to close out that 20-point deficit, that was actual competing. Games don't look like that normally. That gives you something to fight for, but you don't get those reps until you act like you care. And if you care one night and everyone else doesn't care that night, it still doesn't look like basketball. So you don't actually know what you're producing into the playoffs. All right. Like there's a reason why all of a sudden it used to be shocking if a 1 ever got upset by an 8. But because everyone posts in and everyone trades random players that are like for basically scraps to get some superstar, by the time you get to the playoffs, you have no idea what you're looking at. Does anyone feel confident that they know exactly who's going to be in the finals? No, I don't. I can tell you 100%.
No.
Any team from the East outside, I think the Knicks, I think has just a decent shot, better shot than any year in the 90s. Or
You think the
2000s.
Knicks are the worst right now?
No, but just I don't particularly.
I don't believe in.
I don't believe in Karl Anthony Towns at all.
Right,
I
and now
see.
he's going to take the ball out of Brunson's hands on some of those plays. Like so,
Okay.
I think Brunson is solid. Like
Soft.
he's a guard. He's a guard trying to do what is
Karl
almost
Anthony
impossible.
Towns should be doing.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And in the West, I mean, especially with this dumb playing stuff, don't get me started on that. It's just more, I don't need to actually win anything for it to matter until it's like down to one game. I get like 3 chances to get into the playoffs if I'm close to being a playoff team.
You don't like the plan?
No, I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it. And this is the primary reason. I understand, oh, it's more competitive down the stretch. Yeah, but you know who that screws over? The one seed who worked hard all year.
Why does it screw them over?
Right? Why would a team be in the 10 spot and make the playoffs? It's usually because of injuries and you probably actually didn't deserve to be there, or it's a late trade. So, like any late trade gets you a chance at dethroning somebody. For instance, why are the Lakers the 3 seed? They were terrible all season. They traded for Luka and they moved up, right? It's just that constant shifting. So any team, the one seed should be like, all right, you made it, you played the best, and thus your first round should be like a cakewalk. You shouldn't even have to think about it. But that's not what we're gonna see, right? It's OKC versus maybe the Warriors. You think they want to play the Warriors in the first round after winning all those games? I don't think so.
Draymond ruined everything. I wanted Lakers Warriors would have been so glorious, like all the narratives, like just terrible. So let's end with this because Kendrick, I already know your answer, but we'll start with Kendrick.
Okay.
If somebody comes and blocks your shot and then stands over you and shimmy shakes over you, how quick are you throwing a punch?
I'm not at all. Like you can't. I did it like 4 or 5 times running down the bench. I got to live with that. Just like when Halliburton did the Dame time when they beat us last year. I'm like, you got to live with that. You gonna do it in front of people. You got to be man enough to do it. And like, dang, he got me. But I can't think of a more humiliating thing than getting your stuff just blocked. Out of all sports, I mean, a strikeout. That just happens a lot, you know. I think that
The
happened.
guy who didn't jump is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's it.
He
It wasn't.
jumped a
He
little
did.
bit. He jumped a little bit, but I
He
mean, he was
basically
like,
stood there. He basically stood there.
I mean, it was a solid block too. It wasn't even lightweight, like catching it with the tip of his fingers. It
Yeah,
was just like, were
he
you
blocked
for
a
real trying to shoot
one of
that?
those house hoops.
Right. So,
It's
I mean, it's embarrassing, but you got to live with that. I wouldn't throw hands. I wouldn't have been trying to shake his hand either, but I wouldn't have. I mean, you played with this dude. You know he's genuinely just a goof. Now you're gonna try to go out there and run that narrative like, oh man, just people get sick of that. I'm like,
I would have
fool,
pushed
you
him.
just mad.
You got to
He
get
did
up and
push
push
him.
him. You got
He did
you got
push
to
him.
get up and push him.
He did
I don't
push
have
him.
enough context to know, but like I could go either way on this. It's only
It
because I don't
was
know
it was hilarious.
why didn't we sign Beasley again? Because that's really what it came down to in my head. It's like, don't be doing this like we're boys when you didn't.
Because at that time they still had Middleton and they were broke as a joke. They could only sign vet minimums. Beasley went and he signed with Detroit for I think like 8 million a year, 8 to 10 million. I got to look it up, but yeah, he got paid a little bit going on Detroit.
To me,
And then
to me
then
that
they
dictates
kept
how he
Derry
should
Bird.
respond there.
What's that?
That to me, that dictates how he should respond there. If he feels like Giannis didn't get his back to get him paid in town and get rid of some other whatever, I'm fine with it. Otherwise, look, y'all rock together for a year at least, and then also Detroit, that was for seeding though too, right?
Yeah, that's why they're playing the Knicks. Yeah.
I'm okay with him being salty with all these things combined. But normally, regular season game, 15 games back, and he's salty like this. No, that's not cool. If you were worried about seeding now and you just got blocked and you were trying to make some magic happen, so you moved up, like this game mattered, and then it's
You
fine.
guys see they hugged it out and were laughing at the end of the last game of the year.
Yeah,
Crip.
I saw
He's
it.
cool. He
Crip.
probably
Crip.
realized he was acting like a baby.
Crip.
And good on him for like not just holding it down to be stubborn.
So I think this ties back into your emotional intelligence, right? Like, yeah, emotional intelligence doesn't exist in the game anymore today because you can just make the right play and always have that excuse. I don't remember which documentary it was where Jordan talked about like he knew the guys he could push a certain type of way and guys he couldn't. Like, I think he talked about how he couldn't mess with was it Luke Longley, right? The Australian
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
He knew there are certain things he could and couldn't
Or
do with him.
Wennington, one of them.
Yeah. So like it's gone now because I can just say, well, he made the right play and I don't need to light him up or motivate him. So I mean, to me, emotional intelligence says if you get your stuff blocked for a game winner, you should be upset. I don't care who the dude is standing over you.
Well,
I
I
don't care
get being
what.
upset. I'm not going to throw a
Yeah.
punch. I wouldn't have got up and did
No, I
nothing
would have
like that.
definitely got up. I would have got up and let him know you're not going to do my celebration. That's not going to happen. I'd have let him know for
What's
sure.
what's
100%.
what's unfortunate for us, or kind of hilarious for us, if there's one person who knows good and well he shouldn't be jumping at no 3-point shooters, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, who just this year against the Pacers and against Jimmy Butler, and a million times has given up 3 free throws in like bad clutch situations. But it's just kind of funny to me. I both found like kind of some of the discourse was like people were like, I used to love Beasley, but no more. It's like, well, he's like a
I
wrestling
don't.
heel.
He should be upset.
He's like a wrestling heel, but like what made it funny watching it, this isn't smoothly Giannis anymore. Giannis knew exactly what he was doing. Giannis didn't have to follow him up and down the court. He's walking
You
down.
see him
He
doing it
sees
with
Beasley
Durham
is
too.
mad, and
He was in
he's
a.
like, he's fueled by it.
It was like a little brother move, you know.
He wanted everybody to see, and Beasley is so high, and it's funny because Beasley has like been like being this baby face like the whole time and shaking for the bench and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he gets blocked, and Giannis is like, "Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean?" And it's like Giannis intentionally. It wasn't like one thing. Giannis is like, "Here, what I'm doing. I'm gonna shake. Oh, you missed it. Let me help you up. I'm gonna shake again. Okay, I'm gonna fly you up and down the court."
Did you
And
see
like I
it?
turned
Look at this.
around.
Look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm
I
doing your
think
thing.
I think I like
And then
turned
surprised that he got a
Couldn't
tech.
do that.
Giannis was like, why'd you give me a tech? I don't understand why I got a tech.
Oh
don't
no,
think
I
you
don't
should- I don't
understand.
think-
What didn't you?
The texts
You
are
know, the
out of
country
order. I
just
don't think they
attack.
should have gave a tech.
No. See, where Beasley messed up, it was fine at the shot, but when they went down the court and then he swiped at Giannis's hands, they had to give a tech at that point.
That should have been a tech on Beasley because Giannis was just pointing in his direction. He didn't have his hand in his
Yeah,
face.
he was like,
Oh, it
but
was
now
so funny though.
had he swiped down and broke Giannis's finger, boy, everybody in here would have been freaking
But like
out.
even when Duran, I think his name was their center.
Duran,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
When they
the
had a
first
foul,
game-
he's followed all the way down him and feeling on his muscles and talking about some man. I mean, he was just in a
That was
goofy
egregious.
move.
That one was egregious as all get
That
out.
one was worse than laughing at dude after the block. I'm like, dude, why are you all the way on the visitor side? You better get away from them.
I think it's the Wolves. The Wolves come back. One of those shots. Maybe it's Derry Bird, but I think it was like the alley oop, and Prince just throws a towel up in the air as the ball is in the air. He just throws a towel from the bench and like as Giannis dunks it, and it was just like that was one of the. I mean, that's got to be the hypest game, the hypest crowd all year. I
Yeah.
would imagine because people were standing coming out of those last timeouts in the last 2 minutes. All of a sudden, it was like, oh wow, this is like a Bradley Center crowd for a minute. And
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. All right, so it's been like an hour and a half. Bucks in 6. I have the Bucks losing the first game. I have the Bucks winning game 2, winning game 3, winning game 4, losing game 5, and winning game 6. But I mean it's random. I think the Bucks will beat the Pacers in 6. I don't think there's any way it's less than that. And I'm terrified of the Pacers because everybody's saying we should win the Pacers. But like Jay said, I don't think the regular season matters really at all. And just the same way the Knicks swept us or whatever, I don't think that really would have mattered. So that's my prediction. Kendrick, what's your prediction? Bucks Pacers.
What did the Bucks do to Miami after they lost in the bubble to them the following year? Championship year. Did we sweep them? That's what I'm going with. I'm going with a sweep.
Clean
4-0.
brooms. Clean
Yeah.
brooms.
My emotional intelligence makes me do this to protect myself. Pacers
Yeah.
in 6. Giannis gets undercut in game 2. We don't know whether he can come back from game 6.
Don't say that.
Kevin
Man.
Love signed by the Pacers.
Sorry, I just can't. I can't remember the last time I watched a series where I thought, "Hey, we've got everybody," and I just don't want to. I can't be hurt again. They're not going to hurt me again.
Right.
Bucks
I'm
in 7.
trying to be positive.
I'll take Bucks in 7 just because
Okay.
it's a toss up.
Cool. I
Beasley
still
makes $6 million. I think I said 8, and Lillard makes $54 million. So,
Oh, there
way
you go.
off.
Cool.
You know, I thought we just say random things and don't care whether we're right or not. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I
Good
don't, yeah, I
job
don't,
looking it
If
up.
if I hadn't seen it, I would have been rolling with it. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like around the horn. Someone's got to come in and like fact
Yeah.
check everybody at the end of
fact check.
the.
It was just like, oh man, that's a big difference. Yeah.
So Andor starts in a week. I did not watch the Andor trailer. I did not watch the Mission Impossible's trailer. I did watch the Superman trailer, and I did watch the Tron trailer.
Same. Dodged all the ones you mentioned and only
What
watched
about
the ones.
Jurassic Park?
I haven't seen a
Still
Jurassic
doing
Park
those?
since two, Jurassic Park 2. I might have seen a few minutes of the one with the
Oh, the new
Star
one?
Lord, the one with
Yeah.
Star Lord. I
Oh.
might
The
have seen
first
like
Star Lord one. Yeah.
15 minutes of that one. I don't ever want to see another one. I
Scarlett
have no interest.
Johansson is the LeBron James of Scarlett Johansson's.
Oh, and she's in this one
Just the
too, right?
longevity.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't show up for the dude's funeral in the Star Wars movie. Where are we going with this?
Never mind.
Yeah.
No,
Tron looks good, but I don't know what the concept is. Are you trying to say the video game came into the real world somehow?
I don't know where they're picking up. These aren't even the same actors from the last one. If they learned anything from the last one, hey, if the plot kind of makes sense and you make a gorgeous movie, that'll be enough. I'll still put on the last Tron they made just in the background.
I
thought
just
it was
wonder
good.
what's better. What was more entertaining, the last Tron or Ready Player One?
I love
More
Ready Player One.
entertaining Ready Player One. More visually stunning and fun to watch, like visually, because it's just like watching an art piece Tron. And the music on Tron is really good. The music's way better on Tron.
The music was good. I didn't really care for the movie too much, but
Right. I like Ready Player One better personally. I just kind of whatever. Tron, great.
oh, definitely. Ready Player One was pretty good.
I don't. We've now said everything 100 times because I remember saying like in episode 2 that I felt like it was a little disrespectful to the Iron Giant. Didn't they kill the Iron Giant twice? Like in Ready Player One. Like I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, no, I mean that was straight. I don't think I saw that. I didn't see that or Tron at the show.
What other trailers did you say you didn't watch? You did not watch?
I mean, I've been seeing screenshots of the Andor stuff because you can't get away from some of the stuff. But it was
Does
I
that
mean,
come out this month?
April
It's-
22nd.
I think it's a Tuesday
Okay.
Tuesday night after this one. I don't know if it's Tuesday night or Wednesday night. But like, look,
Next
I mean,
Tuesday.
we know how Star Wars ends. We know how like Rogue One ends. We know how Episode 4 starts.
Right.
Still no spoilers. I saw the trailer came up during that Warriors game, and I muted and turned my head aside like the second. I am spoiler free.
I will say this: the spoiler is of what we kind of grew up with. It's a little dibble and dabbling, not showing you like Red Hulk. Red Hulk should have been a surprise, but it
I didn't
doesn't
even
show
see
you a
that.
lot.
I did not even see that.
You're not. It's not terrible. It's not great.
Oh, did you see it?
It'll be
Yeah.
on Disney Plus at some point, won't it?
Oh, for sure. It should be out there pretty soon. It's already ready to rent.
Jay,
Uh,
hold on. Like,
Yep.
like you saw Twisters, right?
Yeah, I saw it. Yep.
I saw it at the show because we saw it at the motion seats of the 4DX or whatever they're calling it. I cannot tell you how much Lauren's or whatever his name is in Hamilton's hair bothers me. It's an insane haircut to allow an emotion. I saw his hair 100 feet high. He looked like if we didn't get our hair cut for like 8 weeks. It's the craziest flex. And I know they're like, well, he's a minority. We're going to put a minority in this. His hair is bananas, dude. Like, look up his hair in that movie. It's going 18 different ways. and he's been in Hamilton. He's been in the Transformers movies. He had been in a bunch of stuff. It's shocking. Like, going back to Tatum, like with certain Tatum, like, you remember how ugly, like, Klay Thompson was, like, 10 years ago before he got facial hair, and he looked like a creative player. And after a while, you get some... you get like
It's polygon mush. Yeah.
Right. If you watch like I said, we saw that at the show. If you watch Twisters, you're just like, this is not a Hollywood actor. Like, what am I? This is like a character actor. Like, he should be playing like some dirtbag, like bail bondsman, the way he is, and he's like the head scientist or whatever. It's shocking to me. And you get a little bit older, your head gets bigger, like a bunch of stuff happens, you get really shitty, the whole thing. Like, it's bananas that they were like, well, I guess like he just showed up and they were like, action. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's greasy. It's going a million different directions. There's no. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see.
Semi-related story. I've been looking at like the best clippers on YouTube, so they're feeding me all this stuff. And I caught a short where somebody was trying to hype up like how they got rich or like gotta stay on that grind, blah blah blah. I
Yes.
got one haircut and blah blah blah.
How
And it
jealous.
was like the one person he's cutting in the video is like the one person in the NBA. You'd be like, man, you trash, even if it's not his fault, because he's cutting Trey Young. Trey Young is like the big standout. I was like, dude, if I cut Trey Young's hair, I wouldn't tell nobody that, or definitely not put it online.
Does Trey Young put product in his hair or not?
Trey Young, pubic hair
Trey
man.
Young seems like he stands underneath like
I
a
thought
sewer.
I thought.
Just
Oh,
drips
Trey
on
Young.
top of it.
I was thinking
Didn't he go to Turkey? Did he just go to Turkey and come back?
Did
I mean, that sure does look like.
Oh, okay, I
You
get
think
what
you
you're
got
saying.
he? You saying it's getting thicker and thicker?
Right.
I
The
think
hair is growing.
I think Trey Young is such a narcissist that he's just like, girl, you know I'm Trey Young. Look at this hair. And it's just like like his version of I'm Rick James. It's like, you know I'm Trey Young.
I'm Rick James.
Enjoy yourself. I'm Trey
Rub
Young.
your hands through it. It's so fluffy.
It's like he picked it out, blow dried it, and then just like
Congratulations.
put no moisture in it whatsoever. Like it's the
Worst
craziest thing in the world.
Hair. Some of the worst hair I've ever seen.
Cotton candy hair.
What White finally cut his hair off though. Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
much
for
better.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this has been great.
All right, fellas.
Periodically, as always, I'll put out the bat signal, but that'll be because I'm at work, and then after work, I won't really feel like doing this, or I'll fall asleep or whatever else. It's not like we're saying we're gonna do it after every playoff game or nothing like that, but we'll do stuff periodically. I mean, the Bucks are poised for a long postseason run, so we have plenty of time.
Oh yeah. Long run. Yep.
All right,
Let's
zip
go.
it up, zip it out.